Magic Makers. I'm Mombierella.
I'm Yukita Cosplay.
And I'm CJ Peterson. Welcome to Magic Making Mischief. Today we have a special guest, Princess Tian. We'll be talking to her in just a minute. But before we get started, get your wands to the ready because we solemnly swear we're up to no good. And being up to no good, like I said, we have tons of things going on around us. We have Texas Men Fest, we have Comic-Cons, we have all sorts of fun stuff. But today, Works Hard says hi. She's here. Today we're going to be talking to Princess Tian, who was the cosplay contest winner for Kimo Kawaii back in June. So welcome.
Yay! Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Sure.
So, can you tell us, we'll start off with, who is Princess Tian?
Princess Tian is a working mom, and I am who I am. I guess that's the best way for me to say it. I'm doing things that I want to do and trying to just inspire people to do more in their lives. Not even necessarily do more, but to live their life to the fullest and do what you can while you still have the time.
So what do you all cosplay?
Yes. I love cosplay. Cosplay has been, I've been doing it on and off since 8th grade, and I'm 31 now. So
Nice.
Long time.
back before it was called cosplay, right? Like some of
yeah, back before. Sorry, I turned the volume on my end. Sorry, but no, yeah, back before it was called cosplay. But yeah, I've been doing it for quite some time.
No, but what do you cosplay?
How many cosplays do you have?
No, what are they?
I've got. I mean, I cosplay anything. It depends on what I'm into at that time, or if there's a character that I specifically relate to, which is preferably what I like to do. I like to dress up as characters that I find a little bit of myself in, or if I find a piece of artwork that I find really, really amazing and I want to recreate that artwork. Those are the typical cosplays I like to do. I have a lot. I'm like thinking in my head going, okay, I got 1, 2, 3. I probably, in my closet, the entire bottom left side of my closet is completely just cosplay costumes and wigs hanging up, and then totes underneath. There's quite a bit.
Yeah, I started putting them like in totes. They're actually labeled what they are.
You're a little more organized than some of us. What the character that you won at Kimo Kawaii, what was that, a character from something, or
which year? Because I won both years.
Oh, that's right.
This last
year, though.
We're gonna go with
this last year.
Yes.
This last year, I did a rendition of Dark Magician Girl by Mocha Berry. She's an artist on Instagram. I was pregnant at the time, and I couldn't sleep. So I'd be up in the middle of the night scrolling Instagram, trying to just numb my brain to fall asleep. And I came across this piece of artwork, and I loved it. I reached out to the artist. I said, hey, I'd really like to recreate this. And so I did. I recreated it right after I had my son. I had my son at the beginning of April. I started creating the cosplay the beginning of May and finished it the Friday before the con, the first weekend of June.
That was close.
Wow, that was quick. Because that was a really awesome, like, there was some elaborate pieces to that.
Works Hard would like to know, what are your top 5 characters that you cosplay?
Sarah's Victoria will always be my number 1. She's my girl. Dark Magician Girl right now is my second, just because I put a lot of work into that. A lot of work. Third, this is difficult. Third is Mitsuri, and I'm actually working on another rendition of her coming for this coming year's Kimo Kawaii. See, fourth one, it's getting kind of hard. Faye Valentine, which I haven't brought her out since I was in college. Cowboy Bebop is one of my favorites. And then fifth, there's some good ones in my closet that I'm thinking about, but I think a fifth I'll go with Bowsette. She's not a normal cosplay character in the Mario universe. I think a lot of people stick to, Princess Peach and Mario and Luigi and Daisy, but I like Bowsette. I like evil Peach, quote unquote. So it's one of my favorites.
Well, she kind of revised the question a little bit. Works Hard wants to know, she's like, what are the top 5 that you find yourself doing the most recently?
Recently, Dark Magician Girl is probably the one that I find doing the most at this time. Mm-hmm. Just because she's newer, and I try to bring that, whatever I worked on for that year, I try to bring that one out the most. So that way I can set it aside, and if I do a guest spot and I have the time or the ability to bring my mannequin, can put that one up on the mannequin, or whatever I worked on the previous year up on the mannequin for people to see it, kind of look at the seams and get some ideas if they wanted to.
That's pretty cool. I love how you took somebody's art piece that you admired and turned it into this whole cosplay, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And okay, so we've talked about this before, but with cosplayers, sometimes we have trouble knowing who's who because you do such a good job on them. So you won both years in a row of Kimo Kawaii.
Yep.
Yeah, I did.
Sponsor, but I'm like, okay, because we were at both of those, obviously, and I'm just like, I saw those and I shared I'm just like, wait, no, hold on.
Yeah.
Like I said, there was one cosplayer who I met her like in 2019, and I had seen her at multiple cons throughout the years. And then a little bit later, we were at a con, and her table was catty corner from mine, and it took me 2 days to figure out that was her. So it's difficult. So people are like, "Oh, hey, hi," and we're like, who are you? Oh, you
shapeshifters
like this."
It's honestly probably the best compliment as a cosplayer that you can get is if people that you know personally or people that you see regularly don't recognize you, because that means you've done a pretty good job of shifting yourself from the previous character they saw you as, or if they've seen you in like normal as a normie for the day, like if they can not figure out that it's you, that to me that's a pretty good compliment.
It is, I agree.
So why we call you shapeshifters?
Yeah, for real. Works Hard said, if you have to appear somewhere, is there a character that you really don't have to work hard at that is like quick go-to no-brainer?
Poison Ivy. Probably my easiest one. She gets recognized everywhere. I mean, I'm covered in plants. If people get plants in a red wig and people go, "Oh, Poison Ivy," like it's an easy one, and it's the easiest cosplay for me to grab, put on, and get out there. I mean, I say it's the easiest one, but my husband still has to help me get into it.
I would think it would be a little bit unforgiving, though. That would be my concern with it.
No, I don't think so. I think that Poison Ivy is probably my most comfortable, and it pushes me to be more comfortable with myself a little bit, but it's not unforgiving. I think a lot of that has to deal with the materials that you choose, because satin lays differently on a body that compared to how cotton does. Same with certain polyesters, linens. It depends on what it's made out of.
That's true. I never thought of that.
Agreed.
Right. Well, and sometimes, like with one of mine, I actually have this cincher that I wear that kind of just keeps me from having to hold it in all the time while I'm wearing it. So, like sometimes having a little help is nicer.
And there's nothing wrong with that either.
I've got 2 kids, and it's been a while, so I'm just now getting back into it. Yeah. Okay, so here's my question. What is one issue you had with your cosplay that was one of those moments that you were just like, "Oh my gosh, how do I fix this?" And how did you get out of it?
Just keep it PG-13.
Yes.
Whoa.
Family-friendly version.
Zachary says hi. Hi.
Hey.
Oh. So as far as like getting out of it, like getting out of like trying to change getting out of it, or something that went wrong while wearing it or while creating it? Let me narrow that down, because there's some different answers I can give you.
Okay, how about something that went wrong while wearing it? Because those are always interesting stories.
Janet Jackson
fix it if you're at a con.
Right.
Oh yeah, this is a good one. This happened twice. Twice. No. So Sarah's Victoria was a cosplay that I altered and made to fit me. However, unknowing to me, I was pregnant I didn't know yet that I was pregnant when I was wearing Sarah's Victoria, and I was already going through some of the changes, and I broke the same button 4 times at one convention.
Oh my goodness.
In the few times that I wore it, I popped the same button 9 times.
Is there like one of the cosplay hospitals there at all, by any chance?
So there weren't any cosplay hospitals that I was aware of when I wore this, but I always keep like a small thing of thread and a needle on me wherever I go when I'm wearing cosplay, because things happen, like buttons popping off and things coming apart. So I quickly just like pulled myself over to the corner, and one of the times it happened was in the middle of me getting my photos taken, and I was like, can you like give me just 1 minute? So I'm sitting there like sewing buttons back on, and
Oh my goodness.
like, this is normal. It's just a normal day, but that's probably the the worst one that I had was that same button. Now it's hot glued on and it's never coming off. So I was like, I'm done. You're not going anywhere. We're done.
Cosplay hospital and works hard. Would like to know what that is.
Oh,
so cosplay hospitals are they're exactly what they sound like. It's a cosplay hospital. If you break something, a seam pops, something's falling apart, you can go to that table, that booth, and they will have tools to help you quickly repair it. It may not be a permanent fix, but at least get you through the day so you can get it home and properly fix it.
Yeah, there's usually some table, or sometimes there's even a room, which is really nice if it's a room. Zachary says, I'm going to another anime con next year in a town. It's called Animeverse Fest. I don't know.
I think that sounds familiar, but I don't know.
It does sound familiar.
It does. It's come across my feed.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get a lot of suggestions for different cons at this point. They're just like, you love cons. Here's one.
Right. Oh, also to add on to Tian's thing about the anime hospitals, there's also sometimes random people that walk around and they're like the cosplayer parents, or like they'll be like, hey, do you con moms or con dads? And they'll walk around and be like, hey, do you need like hot glue? Like, are you okay? Do you need a hug? Things like that. They're great. They're great. I love them. I love seeing them around the cons.
Now,
Not all heroes wear capes.
Do you ever use a handler?
Yes, I do utilize a handler. My husband will be my handler sometimes. My best friend, which you can find her on Instagram, Malicious Maledictus, she will be my handler sometimes. We trade off being each other's handlers depending on what our props are. But yeah, handlers are super important in my opinion, especially if you're wearing bigger cosplays. The hat for Witchy Dark Magician Girl is very wide, and like I can't see anything behind me in that thing. So if you come up like to the set, like from behind me, like I can't see anything. My husband thinks it's really funny to stand behind the hat and like as I turn like with me and starts like, hey, like talk to me. I'm like, I can't find you. But yeah, handlers are super important.
That would scare me. But
that's hilarious.
that is funny.
So
yeah, he thinks he's hilarious. I'm sorry.
That's a very husband thing to do.
For
you're gonna have to repeat the question. It cut out just a little bit.
So what do you use your handlers for?
Oh, handlers to help you get through crowds, to help you go to the bathroom. Like as silly as that sounds, like that's an important one. If you're guessing and you have a booth, your handler can be really great to get you out of an awkward situation, to help you maneuver your cosplay, help you take pictures, get you snacks, like somebody that can just basically handle all the things you don't want to worry about. That's the most important thing a handler can do. I mean, and it kind of gives you a little bit of comfort too, to know that there's somebody that's got your back the whole time. You know, things can happen when you're in cosplay. So to have somebody there with you, it does help out a lot.
Zachary said, I saw a Dark Magician Girl cosplay 2 weekends ago at a Collecticon. He said it was good.
I was at Collecticon, but I was not dressed up as Dark Magician Girl. No, I did not. I did not bring her. I opted for comfortable shoes.
Okay.
The irony. That's like, I was gonna say you were there. Yeah.
I was there. I just wasn't dressed up as her. I opted for comfortable shoes, and I wanted to be kind of comfortable that day. I brought my husband with me. Wanted more of a day of fun and not having to worry about maneuvering through big crowds with a giant hat.
Yeah.
What were you that day?
Who did you cosplay as?
I didn't cosplay as anyone per se. I just kind of did a rave techwear kind of look that I put on, and as well as my friend Malicious Maledictus, she did the same thing. She went to the Steve Aoki concert. I went and
Oh,
met some of the
yeah.
guests that were there. So it was just more of a, I wanted to be comfortable that day and just more relaxed. Because not all the time when I'm in cosplay, I get to enjoy everything that's going on. Because you get stopped, you get to take pictures, which I don't mind at all. Like if you want to come take pictures with me, you want to talk to me, I'm all for it. But I wanted to be a little bit more relaxed, especially since my husband went with me and we kind of got to spend the day doing that together.
So how do you determine which one you're going to do on which days?
Sometimes it's a coin flip. Like that's literally what it's going to be. It also depends on if I'm having photos taken, if I booked up an appointment with a photographer. Also depends, like, okay, if this photographer only has availability on these days, I'm gonna dress up as this one this day because this is the one that I want to get photographed. It really depends. There's a lot of factors that go into it. If it's going to be a more busy day and I want that specific cosplay to get more exposure, I'll bring it on the busiest day. If I want to be a little bit more relaxed, typically the last day I'll wear an easier cosplay, something that's a little bit more comfortable, that's not destroying my feet, because cosplay shoes are not comfortable. They're not at all.
Oh my gosh.
Some cosplayers have pre-done photos that they do. Do you have those at all?
Yes. So I have photos that I've taken with certain photographers that I've either done before the con, at the con, and those will go up on my Instagram. They'll go up in my print shop, or they'll be brought with me to events to be sold and signed as well.
Nice.
So if somebody wants to have you as a cosplay guest at their con, how do they get a hold of you?
Email is the best way to get a hold of me, or if they reach out to me on my Instagram, those are probably the two top ways. But if you go to my Instagram, it has a link tree that's in my bio, and it has all of my links to my email, my blog, my Instagram handles, any ways that you need to get to contact me, all of my links there.
Okay, right now her Instagram is scrolling across the bottom. That's Instagram.com/princess, TEN_PRINCESS_TEA_ANN. Awesome. So how did you get started in it? You said you've been doing it since you were younger.
Oh, how did I get started in it? Cowboy Bebop was one of my favorite animes growing up, and there's a character, Ed. She was my favorite character at the time. She was goofy, she was quirky, and I absolutely loved it. And there weren't all these options to buy cosplays at the time. I mean, you were piecing these together with whatever you had, and so that's what I did. I had a T-shirt, I cut it up. Same with a pair of old skinny jean pants that I had as a kid. I cut those off, and I didn't have a corgi, but I did have a basset hound. So that was how I did that. That's how I got started, and then on and off for a couple of years. Throughout the entire time I've been doing this, making different cosplays. But I got started by piecing something together with what I had in my closet.
Gotcha.
There's a phrase for that nowadays, isn't there? Yukita, what's the name for whenever you take stuff out of your closet for
Closet
cosplay?
cosplay. That's
Closet cosplay.
closet cosplay.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's all got like names now. It's all cool.
Whatever you put together, if it works, it works.
Exactly.
You gotta have fun, man. Just have fun.
There's no wrong way to cosplay. There's not.
Yeah, I've even seen them where they switch genders. There's all sorts of things that you can
Gender
do
bend.
with cosplays.
I want to
got
do a
one.
gender bend of Sirius Black, so
I'm doing one of the Beetlejuice whenever the movie comes out. I'm gonna do a female Beetlejuice. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
Awesome. So if somebody came to you and said, do you have any advice for somebody who wants to get into it and who wants to do it? What's the best advice that you can come up with?
So there are a couple of different pointers. One of them being plan it out and be thorough in your planning. Do a lot of research. And when I say research materials, research when those sales happen for those stores you're going to have to buy your materials from. And if you want to purchase a cosplay, that's fine too. Check on different platforms, look around, see who's selling what, because this is a very expensive hobby. It is not cheap. we put a lot of money in it, and I would rather somebody do the research and save a little bit of money. So take your time. Don't rush it, because while I plowed through the process of making Dark Magician Girl, that was a process. But I mean, I was working from 7 o'clock in the morning some days till 5, 6 in the evening with my sewing machine. Take your time. Don't rush it. You don't want to get burnt out. That's my biggest pieces of advice that I have for it.
Yukita, you're also a cosplayer. What would you say?
Well, so, I mean, I mentioned it earlier, but like, also, I guess this is from my own experience. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the hardest things for me to do as a perfectionist and as a cosplayer with ADHD. It's really easy for me to get down on myself, and like I am truly my worst critic. So even if something
everybody
I
is.
create isn't enough for me, and I like have to buy little things here and there, if it doesn't match to the T, sometimes I just have to, you know what? It works. It looks good. We're gonna go. Don't judge yourself too harshly. Please just have fun with it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Have fun with it. Mommy, what about you?
Deer headlights.
Exactly what that look was.
You catch Mommy off guard.
Oh my gosh.
You're a
Well,
cosplayer
honestly,
too, kinda. You know, you do the things.
oh, okay. So we're gonna have we're actually there's something we're gonna share about later too. So it's cool because like I've been doing the cosplay more now, and like it's funny because we were saying earlier, when we were younger, it wasn't called cosplay. It wasn't like this whole thing, and people didn't, people looked at you and went, "What are you wearing, weirdo?" I mean, that was pretty much what you were called back then. It's like,
Facts.
It's all good.
oh my gosh, but it's like.
Normal's boring.
Right. You pulled out of your closet what you wanted, and you put together the outfits that looked like the characters you loved, or things that even like I love the artwork thing that you're doing with that. Princess Tian did that with the artwork, and that's so cool. So for me, like honestly, just enjoy yourself, have fun with it. My biggest Achilles heel with making something is burning myself out because I will go nuts working on it, especially if I'm sewing it. I made my daughter a full-on Belle ball gown one time, and like it was gorgeous, so many layers, so much work, and by the time it was done I was like, I'm never sewing for the rest of my life ever again. So it's like burnout is a big thing, you really got to pace yourself, but just enjoy it. Have fun with it, and there are no limits to what you can do with it. So
Okay, there's a couple I need to catch up on. Zachary says the best cosplay he ever saw was Sylvian and Shiny Sylvian cosplay from Pokemon. It was really creative. Belinda Nolan says hi. Hi, Belinda. And
My mother-in-law. Hi.
Hello.
Works Hard says, you mentioned children, I believe. Is there certain characters that you like to play when you were expecting?
So when I was expecting, we kept it very quiet. So I didn't show my pregnancy until after Thanksgiving. And by that time, con season was pretty much coming up to an end. So I didn't do any cosplay while I was showing. However, I was at the Dragon Ball Z Halloween Street Fest the first year. They had it last year as a guest. And I wore a Princess Peach cosplay because I was trying my best to hide my pregnancy. I was starting to show a little bit, and it was the only thing that I could do to hide what I was showing.
So what's next for you on your cosplay list? Like, what do you have cooking?
Ooh. So one of the sides. So over here I have got Dark Lady, which I am starting from Sailor Moon for a shoot that I've got coming up in January. And then I have a Mitsuri Kanroji cosplay that I'm working on, which is a rendition from the same artist that did the Witchy Dark Magician Girl, which I plan to debut at Kimo Kawaii 2024.
You heard it here.
It is. It's big.
All right.
It's going to be my biggest project this year.
Awesome. Can't wait to see it. Okay, so we have about 5 minutes left. Is there anything you'd like to add?
I want to kind of pile on what was said about, having fun with cosplay. And we don't make money doing it. Some people do, and if they can make money doing it, that's awesome. I give you the props to be able to do that, but go into it with a fun mindset, have a good time with it. There's no right way, there's no wrong way, and don't let anybody tell you that you're doing it wrong. It's very easy to get lost in social media and the numbers game, and don't worry about it's all about what you want to do with it. It's easy to get sucked into the toxicity with anything. I mean, there's toxic sides to any hobby, and my biggest advice is just do it for you. Don't do it for anybody else.
Exactly.
Another one on the flip side of the camera is cosplay is not permission. If you see somebody you'd like to take a picture with, or you want to take a picture of, please make sure to ask them, hey, can I take your picture?
Cosplay is not consent.
That's
100%. And if you see something, say something. That's the biggest advice that I can give you. I mean, it's happened to me. It's happened to girls that I know, guys that I know.
Yep.
You know, if something happens, say something. If you see somebody that's getting harassed, like step in and be that friend. Just go up to them. Hey, sorry, I've been looking for you everywhere. Be the distraction to help break an awkward situation if you have to.
And also, if you see a cosplayer's costume that doesn't look right, mention something to them because they may not know it. So make sure that, if you see something that doesn't look like it's fitting right or that got stuck somewhere, make sure to let them know.
Yeah, if there's something that's falling off and you don't think they know it, like go up to them, don't startle them, don't yell at them, but say, hey, I just wanted to say that you've got something that's falling off. Do you need some help with it?
Mm-hmm.
Like let them know, because that's hard when you're walking around and you don't realize that something's dragging on the floor, and if you're in a big cosplay, you can't necessarily notice that something's falling. Sometimes it's very easy to break things and not notice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think just being respectful is key, because like you treat people with respect, because you don't forget that because they're in a cosplay and it just catches your attention, something along those lines. Yeah.
And there's a lot of work put into those. So,
there's a lot of work that gets put into them. I've had people break my props because they think that it's okay to grab onto something. It happens, you have to take it in stride. But on the flip side of, talking about cosplay as consent, as cosplayers, be sure that you're aware of your surroundings, in the sense that, like, who is asking you to take pictures and the attitude that you have, because especially little kids don't understand. They don't understand the difference between the reality behind the character. They don't understand it. So don't be rude. Don't be nasty. Be polite, especially if you don't want to take a photo. Just say, I'm sorry, I'm not taking any photos at this time, but I really appreciate it. And if somebody says, hey, my kid wants to get a picture with you, and you're in the middle of a conversation, say, okay, yeah, just give me 1 second and I'll be right with you. Don't be rude. Just remember, they're wanting to enjoy the con as well. And not everybody understands, cosplay etiquette. Like, handle it with some grace.
Definitely. So anybody wants to get a hold of Princess Tian to have her as a cosplay guest, make sure to reach out to her. You can reach her at her Instagram, which is instagram.com/Princess Tian, PRINCESS_TEA_ANN. And her link tree is right there as well. You can go ahead and contact her that way. The NTD show says hello all. Hi.
Hello.
Hey, Nathan.
Will not be here next week because of Thanksgiving. So make sure to make a note of that. But we will be returning on the 29th with Alice Wilson, who is a character impersonator for Dickens on the Strand. So pretty excited to have her coming. Princess Tian, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you so much for cosplay. Congratulations.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Let's try to make it a third come this year. Kawaii.
Yes, I will see you guys at Kimo Kawaii in 2024. You guys will see me there.
Yay.
Oh, and your Terrafest cosplays, whenever you were judging the costume contest and everything, were amazing. She did Elvira and Lily Munster, and I absolutely love them.
God.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Gorgeous.
Thank you.
In the meantime, Mommy, take us away.
All right. Since we won't be here for Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I got my Thanksgiving shirt on.
Gobble.
We will see you the next week. Love you guys. Till next time, Mischief managed. Bye.